Hey folks, Gary here. How many of you have ever gone traveling? I mean, like traveling, where you hop on a plane and you fly across an ocean and land in a completely different culture. That's exciting, and that's a whole lot of fun, right, Cole? Cole's never done that, but that can be a lot of fun, and it is really quite exciting. Now, what's not so exciting is when you go to that country and you start really eating a lot of the food that's there. Well, you're gonna have to do that. You got to eat, right? But you eat a lot of food, you drink a lot of water, that kind of stuff. And what can end up happening with that is the bacteria that you find in that food and in that water, it doesn't get along with the bacteria that's inside of you already. And so the bacteria inside of you doesn't get along with its neighbors very well. The new neighbor's moving in, there's a lot of problems, and someone has to come out. I think we've all been there. That's not pleasant. Well, Peter kind of talks about that in a way in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11. We're working through 1 Peter chapter 2. Let me just read it to you. He says this: Beloved, I urge you, as sojourners and exiles. So what does he mean by sojourners and exiles? Well, sojourner, that is a temporary resident. It says you are a temporary resident. You're not a permanent resident. You're a temporary resident. You're an exile. You're no longer in your country that you belong to. You're in a foreign country. You're an exile. You're a temporary resident. Now, he's speaking to people that have lived in the same place, probably the same house their entire lives. So what does he mean by that? What he means by that is this: when you gave your life to Christ, you became a citizen of heaven. That's your citizenship. That's where you belong. And so we're almost on loan here to the world while we live here, right? So you're just a temporary resident in the place we're in right now. You might live here to be 80, 90, 100 years old, but it's temporary. Heaven's permanent. And so because we are a temporary resident, because we're in a foreign culture now, what should you do? Well, he says this: don't eat the food. He doesn't say that, but he says this. He says, abstain from passions of the flesh, which wage war against your soul. In other words, there's a whole lot of things in this world that are very, very tempting. You think, I can just do this. It's not going to matter. It'll be okay. But you know it's the wrong thing to do. He says, don't do that because it wages war against your soul. In other words, that bacteria doesn't get along with the bacteria inside of you already. It's going to mess you up. It's going to wage war against your soul. It's going to wage war against your mind and your heart. So battle for your mind, okay? Protect that. Don't give in to the passions of this world because it erodes who you are. Remember, this is not our home. Our home is someplace else. We're on loan here to show the light of God to those who don't know him. So keep that in mind. And when you travel, pack Imodium.